So earth moving is one of the most fundamental and most basic types of construction operations, and it applies to almost any type of construction project. So whether you're building a building, you need to actually excavate the earth on the footprint of the building for its foundation, or if you're building a highway, you need to do a lot of horizontal earth moving. So you need to you're essentially taking out earth from where the hills are and filling out the valleys with that same earth. So earth moving is something that's of a lot of interest to construction folks. And of course, it applies to other fields like agriculture and for tilling earth and so on, as we're talking in this project. So we have some very advanced types of earth moving equipment that we use. And we have some really big players who have existed for more than 100, 150 years who've been manufacturing these equipment, like Caterpillar and John Deere and so on. So of particular interest to us is the motor grader. Okay, so the motor grader is this extremely versatile piece of equipment, which essentially has a mold board that can be moved in various different configurations relative to the motion of the equipment itself. And this allows it to be used for a variety of uses, including shaping of slopes, digging light trenches, side casting material, moving material lightly, and so on. And that is what we'll be using for this project for creating slopes for the ReSlope project. And another thing I'd like to add is just looking to the future. There's a lot of advancements being made in autonomous operation of these equipment, using GPSs and just the types of autonomous navigation and control equipment that we are coming to see with autonomous cars. So for the ReSlope project, right, essentially what we're trying to do is we're not trying to create something that is not already almost there. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to create very gentle slopes across a wide open area. And this makes it very easy for our operations, just from a logistics standpoint, because the grader does not need to turn. It can move at its optimal speeds to, and therefore boost its productivity and bring down the costs of creating and maintaining these, the ReSlope locations, right? And other things that are in our favor are the fact that these are wide areas, so which allows for production grading instead of, what I mean by production grading is because it's just a matter of economies of scale. You can have these guys working continuously without any change in their operation. Of course, I mean, when they're manual, you'll be taking breaks, but otherwise your efficiencies are going to be very high just due to a lack of any types of disruptions into the operation that you can expect when you're building a road with traffic and when you're working in difficult terrain and so on. So since we are focusing on working in plains, and these are wide open plains which are in very remote locations, the work can get done very quickly just because the efficiency factors are going to be very high. And the grader can be working at a very quick clip. So this is just a perfect type of operation for the use of a grader, I think, outside of construction. So one of the considerations we might have for these operations are just to think very high level about, what is the type of terrain that we have and how does that impact the choice of equipment as well as the number of equipment that we might want to use. And again, things that work in our favor are the fact that, once we get the equipment there, once we figure out that logistics, then you just let the equipment do its job, okay? And before that, what would help is some type of an initial brief survey of the land that is being converted to this arable land. And even for that, because again, we're not working on undulating terrain, right? The terrain itself is going to be flat. It is not, you're not going to require the same level of resolution that you might require for other applications. So this makes surveying easy and quick, and because you're doing it at a rather higher resolution. And this can be done with methods such as using aerial photogrammetry, remote sensing with drones, and so on. So again, you're kind of cutting down on costs by putting people on the ground, and you can survey these large areas using these aerial methods.